Right. So, when you're first starting out in real estate, you kind of try everything. And we talk about this a lot in our meetings that, well, everything works. And for me, I was pretty fortunate because I love doing open houses, and open houses work. I would get clients and recruit clients. And I had the great experience of hosting an open house. And the people came in and they said, we want this exact house. We're going to buy it today. And a contract was written that weekend. Now, that rarely happens, right? So that was a great experience. I would door knock, and even though it takes me a while to, work up that confidence, right, to go up and walk and knock on someone's door, and it's Florida, it's hot, you're sweating, door knocking and having those conversations, that worked. I sent mailers out, and I hand wrote on the envelope, so they would actually open it, and it was my newsletter, and it was one of the templates from Business Builder, but that got me a listing. So everything that I tried and kind of, okay, let's do this pillar of business. Let's do this pillar of business. I've gotten business from every single thing, but the what's been my bread and butter and like the cornerstone of my business is personal referrals.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Happy Agent Podcast. I am Jeff Beggins with you again, along with my co-host and my brother, Mr.
Greg Beggins here with you.
Very nice. And we've got a really cool guest with you today, which I'm really fascinated to have her share her story with you guys, because I think it really, really hits home to most people. And I think it's great to kind of watch overcoming the adversity and the doubt, fear, and all the anxiety that's kind of riddled in this business to do it. So Kalani Heyman, I want to welcome you to our podcast here today.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
And Kalani has not been with us forever. She is not a huge veteran in the real estate business. She's got a very cool background and a story, and I just kind of want to hop in and just let's start with you. So let's go back to the early days of Kalani back in North Carolina. Start our story, bring us back to kind of where you came from, how you grew up, what you kind of went into, and how you landed here in Tampa, and then we'll kind of take it from there. So, Kalani,
Sure.
Turn it over to you.
Yeah. So I actually grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, and it's a great, beautiful city, wonderful people. Both of my parents were small business owners and entrepreneurs, so I kind of saw them, struggle and then provide for our family, and we lived a very comfortable life. But seeing the stresses that came with that.
What businesses were they in, Kalani?
So my mother owned 4 businesses. She owned 4 daycare centers, and my stepdad, he had his own construction company. So lumber, custom cabinets, custom builds, things like that. Cool. So they were both hustlers and entrepreneurs, and like I said, their hard work provided a very comfortable lifestyle for us. But then for whatever reason, when I went into college, I was fascinated with education. So when I told them that I want to become a teacher, they were supportive, but they were like, why? What? I mean, no one in my family was in education. No one had, but it was just I knew I could graduate and get a job right away. And it was that stability that it was attractive to me, and I just fell in love with the education process. So when I graduated, I got a job right away down here in Tampa, Florida. And it's like, this place is paradise. It's beautiful. The beach is right here. It's sunny every day. This is where I want to live. So I moved down right after graduation and started my teaching career up in Lutz at Schwarzkopf Elementary in 1999.
So back to, what did you admire about the daycare business? Because everything kind of replays itself a little bit. You had some construction influences and you had daycare. What did you admire about that business and watching your mom and that side growing up?
Definitely taking care of people, and that, working with children and nurturing and having that. But the business side of providing that service, my mother's daycares were very successful because she chose her location wisely. One of them was right in downtown Greenville, right on Main Street. And she had a full-time, she was the only daycare center that had a full-time nurse on duty because she specialized in preemies. So she knew to provide that service and that comfort level for parents who had to go back to work and are dropping the precious bundle of joy, who premature, may have a heart monitor, things like that. Very scary for a parent, right? So she was able to alleviate that fear by, listen, we have a full-time nurse, right here on staff. So.
See, I think that's an important point, because what you saw was the words. I mean, you talk about a niche, right? You talk about specialization, you talk about service, and you talk about care and empathy, all rolled into one, and you grew up around that. And so you started seeing that equaled success. It probably wasn't a direct formula in your brain, but you saw, hey, mom is sweet, caring, strong, right, businesswoman, but she cares and she loves people and she helps people and people love her. And all of that, those dots were connecting in your head as you were growing up. And I think that kind of is an interesting formula, that hard work plus empathy, care, and compassion, right, and love
Successful
all
business.
rolls in, equals a successful business. And if you read your testimonials and all the things that your clients are saying about you, I think it's interesting to kind of replay those to see where you came from. Because we all came from, we're a product of our environments, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people have to overcome certain things. You were able to envelop and just kind of just really embrace all those things that came to you. So I just wanted to kind of call that out to the audience, that everything that you are is a result of who you were around and the influences that are on you. And that's positive and negative, right? And so one of the interesting struggles we have is to kind of build on our strengths and actually diminish some of the negative influences, and just kind of design which lifestyle we want and pick and choose things from our past and our current and our desired future to make that happen. But I just wanted to remind everybody, to kind of point out, because I think when you said those words, it just was clear, because when you fast forward, we haven't gotten to your business yet, but those are recurring themes that we're going to see kind of in your business there. So now you come down to, you say, all right, I'm now teaching. I am coming back to beautiful, sunny paradise. Now, Tampa, you said earlier you had a connection to Tampa.
Yeah, my aunt and uncle lived here. They were, IBM execs, lived up in Northdale on the golf course. And so I would fly down every summer and visit and stay with them. So I felt comfortable in Tampa. I already loved the people and, the layout of it. So it was a nice, comfortable transition.
Love it. And comfort is important too. And that kind of pulls into your business model as well too. All right. So now you land in Tampa. You're like, all right, here I go. I am not about the money. I'm about caring, nurturing, loving people, kids, and let me try to build and change the world.
Yeah, I love teaching, and I definitely have a passion for educating and working with children. And, my teaching career treated me very well. I had a lot of success with the school district. I was a master trainer, so I would train other teachers and administrators and coaches, for the school district and professional development. And I worked with a lot of beginning teachers. I was a national board certified teacher. So part of that program is mentoring others as well. So I was a peer evaluator for 3 years. I did a lot in the district, and I did just enough without going into administration, because I'm more of a lead from the trenches type person. And so administration just was not the route I wanted to take. I think that the assistant principals are the hardest working people in our school district and the most underpaid people. And so I didn't want to go that route, but I was kind of reaching that ceiling. And 20 years is a long time to be doing something.
Yeah.
I say that, I'm like, God, really 20 years? Like it just blows my mind. And then so a few years ago, a former coworker of mine, he kind of put the bug in my ear. He had gotten out of teaching after his first year. He was like, yep, this is for the birds. No, I'm going into real estate. And I was like, what? Are you crazy? What are you doing? He was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm out. And he has had a very successful career with Caldwell Banker in South Tampa. And we've, remained friends over the years. And so he started putting that bug in my ear of Kalani, you should do this. You'd be great at selling real estate. You're great with people. You're detail oriented. Like, you're a shoo-in. And I was like, no, come on, that's crazy talk. But it definitely planted that bug in my ear, and I thought, well, why not? And he kind of laid out, he goes, listen, he goes, whether you come to work for my brokerage or join my team, or he goes, you do what's best for Kalani and what works best for your fit. He goes, but just start out slow, just part-time, keep teaching, and then slowly build up your database of people. He goes, and then, in 10 years, when you are ready to retire, you have this great database, and then you can roll right into real estate. So I thought, okay, that sounds like a nice, safe plan. It's manageable. As teachers, right, we're always looking for ways to supplement our income, because that's just the reality of being a teacher. I was a single mom, and I needed to supplement my income. So if I could do, a sale or two here and there a year to supplement, all right, I'll go for it. So once I finally made the decision to get my license, I pulled the trigger very quickly. I did the 2-week course over the summer, knocked it out, got my license, and then I took about 3 months interviewing different brokerages. I really wanted to make the best decision and join. I didn't want to jump around. I didn't want to waste my time, because I was still teaching full time. I had no time to waste. So I took my time, interviewed several different brokerages around, and I always tell that to everyone. So I do have a lot of people reach out to me about getting their license. And my number one, first piece of advice is take your time interviewing brokerages before you jump right in and decide what's going to be the best fit for you. So I went and had a conversation with Kim Hodgkins. One Sunday, she was doing an open house, and I'd known Kim for years in the neighborhood, and I had always respected her. She's you're the consummate professional. And I said, can I just pick your brain? I'm having trouble deciding. And so she told me all about Craig and Century 21 Beggins and The Office. And I was like, okay, I'll go try that out, and so I went and I met with Chris Reed, and he showed me around the office, and I think I met Craig during that same visit. And it was just a gut feeling. I was like, you know what, this is the one that I would, consider joining. I didn't want to do a team. I wanted to, if I was going to do this business, I wanted to do it my way, at my own pace, because being in the classroom for 20 years, you're in those 4 walls, and your day is structured and everything. And I wanted freedom. I wanted my day to look different. So,
but at this time, it's comfortable. It's certainty and uncertainty
I was the expert
mixed together, right?
Yeah.
Because you've got your teaching career. You're not letting that go yet, right? So if this was a terrible decision, it didn't work, who cares? Right? Ultimately, right. But you're not that style, because your style of processing information is external sorting. You're talking to a lot of people, you're doing your research, and you want to see what's the right fit, where you feel most comfortable. Because for you, being empathetic the way that you are, and a kinesthetic type person, right, feels are important, right? And it's the energy, it's the vibe that kind of plays in. And that connects to your real estate career too. And, I'll get to, I think, how that really plays in just a second. But I think for those watching, it's important, because I think that one of the connects that I think don't happen often enough from a real estate agent, guys, look, Kalani, you get called probably multiple times a week, people trying to steal you away from us to go work for them, right? It's a recruiting business nonstop, right? So when you're talking with a seller, or you're talking with a buyer, specifically a seller, and they say, well, I'm going to kind of look around and shop around. What I love about what you did is you could say, well, time out, because I already did for you. Look, I'm a free agent. I'm an independent contractor. I can work for any company in the world, right? I've got 20 text messages in my phone right now, people trying to get me to work there, right? And I've interviewed every single one of them. And the reason why I work where I work is because it's the best offering package for you. And here's why. Boom, 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 boom. It's talk about total alignment and creating comfort, and just that really just connection. And I know you play that card, and it works, because that's such a good way to really bring that together. So I love that you did that research. It makes us feel really good, because we work hard too.
Yeah.
We see, And we work hard to have an offering package, and it's not the best in the world, right? For everybody, because we're not for everybody, and you're not for everybody, and everybody's not for everybody. But as long as you know who you are and what you are, it works. And that's the whole attract and repel, right? It's
Yes.
the attract and repel strategy. Okay, so
And
now
Well,
here you
I
are.
just want to comment. You said so many people get into real estate because they want freedom. How much freedom do you feel you have now?
If you were to see my schedule or my planner, yeah, no. But it's by design.
Sure.
If I wanted just to blow off and do nothing, I could. But I still have this internal drive where I love to work, and I'm very results oriented and results driven. So it's not about the money per se, but it's about getting results. And when you put the work in, I love it. I love the business of real estate. I love the business of doing business. I love the negotiation part of it, that dance back and forth. But I love being in front of people and interacting with them. So, you know, all parts of the process I enjoy. So, and that's what I tell my sellers, you know, my future clients. I tell them, I'm like, listen, I love to work, and I work for you. And I let them know every single thing that I do, that we provide as a company. So it's been kind of an easy sell.
All right, so let's go back to 1 foot in the water, right? Teaching real estate, kind of like it. Your mentor
tough.
says build it up. So how does that work out?
It was a lot of work. You know, teaching in itself is very emotionally and physically exhausting. And I was teaching. You know, I taught for 15 years in downtown Tampa at a charter inner city school, and then I moved down here to Ruskin with a high migrant population. You know, so high needs again. So it was a lot. And what I found was I was trying to, you know, balance full-time teaching and then work with my real estate clients. And you can work with them in the evening and weekends, and that was fine. But some of the business of real estate, like appraisals and inspections, happen during the school day, right, during those hours. And so if I had to take a day off, even if it was just once a month, it was still too much. And I was really recognizing that, okay, if I get another client, or if my real estate career takes off just a little bit more, I'm not going to be an effective teacher. And so I really wanted to hold myself accountable for the level of you know, the quality of teacher that I had been and remained all these years. And I didn't want that bar to drop just because I couldn't balance everything.
Okay, which is very commendable, because you don't want to just phone it in. You want to give it all to the kids because they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Especially if you look at your evolution for schools that you chose to teach in, because nobody forces you to teach in any school. You see a posting and you apply, right? So you went from nice little cushy suburb to inner city to the migrant population, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you put yourself under fire, right, at a whole different level by choice, right? Because I think there was a challenge in results, and you got the reward from that. So I think that's an interesting combination, because you get to choose your world. And like you said earlier, you choose the level of freedom you have now too, right? You could go to the beach today if you want to right after this, or you can do a bunch of follow-up calls.
I've got a listing appointment I've got to get to. So.
right. Which you could reschedule if you wanted to, if you felt if you look outside and it's beautiful and I'm going to go to Anna Maria Island, see you, right? But you have those choices now. All right, so then you said, so what made you feel comfortable that enough income was going to flow to replace the income you had from teaching?
So I knew what my monthly budget was. I knew what my expenses were. I knew what my teaching, you know, check brought in, and then I knew what my commissions checked, what those brought in. And I told myself, I said, listen, once my real estate career can meet and then surpass enough to also cover my health insurance expense, I'll get out of teaching, and that will be the transition for me. I just didn't realize how quickly that would happen. And so it doesn't take much to buy out a teacher. And so that's kind of good and bad. It doesn't. So I once my career, you know, took off, and I was like, and I had more in my pipeline, and I felt comfortable that, okay, you know, I can actually make a living off doing this, and it's a living that will it will replace my teaching salary. And so let's try it. So I finished out the school year with the intention of taking a 1-year leave of absence. And I was like, okay, just 1 year. I'm not going to retire. I'm not going to leave the school district. So again, I've got that safety net. I can always go back to teaching, right? So that 1 year leave of absence, like this is the year, June 30th, actually, when the year is up. And I just actually signed the termination papers like a few weeks ago. Like, oh, there you go. Bye-bye.
So that's great. So this was your tester year to see if you could do it. And
let me back up, Jeff, just a bit, because when you were doing the part-time gig, how did you get trained? Because we do our trainings in the morning, and you were teaching school in the morning. So how much of a burden was that?
It wasn't at all. I would just I would catch the Zoom meetings, the Zoom morning meeting after school in the evening, and I would, anytime I needed a coaching call or anything with Chris, we would schedule it for after 4 o'clock. And so I just, a lot of, you can watch the Zoom calls and the Zoom trainings, in the car as you're driving, or I would do it at night. So there was a lot of, burning the candle at both ends, but for me, it was worth it because I was building up this new business.
And we have the technology to take care of that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, which is amazing.
And I think it's what I really like to do this, and just to really call this out, is the goal that you had and the process that you had and the outcome and the result, right? Because you're a results driven person.
Mm-hmm.
You said, I need to bring in X dollars per month consistently so I can breathe. And so you don't doubt yourself. Because if you ever go into this business, you hear this recurring theme on all these podcasts. If you are doing this for the money, it's never going to work. Now money comes and you need money to support your lifestyle, but to try to hunt and try to find a deal to make a check, it'll kill you. So once you know that the system is happening, you feel confident in your ability to generate another transaction, to find another client that will trust you. Right? Once you knew that you had that comfort and you can consistently, it's a numbers game, and you realize once I go talk with people, if I talk to people in this area, eventually somebody's going to say yes. And then enough of those say yes that you feel comfortable saying bye. So I think that's important because a lot of people they have one toe in the water sometimes in this industry. And normally it doesn't work, right? But because you have the ability to catch up and watch the trainings, and more importantly, you had the goal that was crystal clear. You knew the type of transaction, you knew which price point, you knew which area you're going to work into because you had limited time to deal with it. And then also from a niche perspective, going back to your mom's influence, there was no way as a part-time agent you could have become good at Pinellas County beaches, New Tampa, West Chase, South Tampa, Riverview, Brandon, Sarasota, everywhere, right? So you talk about how did you build your business from a simplicity standpoint to help you build up that confidence? What did you do?
Right. So, when you're first starting out in real estate, you kind of try everything. And we talk about this a lot in our meetings that, everything works. And for me, I was pretty fortunate because I love doing open houses, and open houses work. I would get clients and recruit clients, and I had the great experience of hosting an open house. And the people came in and they said, we want this exact house. We're going to buy it today. And a contract was written that weekend. Now that rarely happens, right? So that was a great experience. I would door knock. And even though it takes me a while to, work up that confidence, right? To go up and walk and knock on someone's door. And it's Florida, it's hot, you're sweating. Door knocking and having those conversations, that worked. I sent mailers out and I hand wrote on the envelope so they would actually open it. And it was my newsletter, and it was one of the templates from Business Builder, but that got me a listing. So everything that I tried and kind of, okay, let's do this pillar of business. Let's do this pillar of business. I've gotten business from every single thing, but the what's been my bread and butter and like the cornerstone of my business is personal referrals. Like just this morning, people call listing saying, hey, will you come look at my place? I'm thinking of listing it. You were referred by so-and-so. I'd like to use you. So people are calling me now based on recommendations with others. And I tell people, these personal referrals mean everything to me because you're trusting me and the other person is trusting me with the largest transaction of their life, right? Our homes are our investments and huge assets. So I take it very, very seriously. And it's a huge compliment because they're sending people my way, literally. So,
but you've only been doing this a year. So, but you've been building your asset base up for 20 years. And that's, I think, an important part, right? Because you taught people's kids, right? And there's no bigger trust that could be granted upon you than actually taking their kids, right? And so you have the trust of your kids' parents. You have the respect of all the teachers that you work with at multiple schools, the administrators from multiple schools, the neighbors from the places that you live. So I think it's important to realize that your database was growing even when you didn't even intend to grow your database. And then with social media and your ability to connect and stay top of mind, how are these referrals coming to you? How are people actually now thinking about you? Because I know a lot of people watching are struggling trying to bridge that gap, right? Kalani's a teacher. Kalani's a teacher. Kalani's a teacher. She's a great teacher. She's been teaching for 20 years. Kalani teacher. Kalani teacher. Yep. How do you stop that link and start to make them think, Kalani, somebody I should trust with my largest financial transaction in my life?
Right.
So how do you do that?
I think I don't know. I think I'm in front of their faces every day. I post a lot on social media and I'm consistent with it. And I do a lot of videos, and, my thing is, I may not be everyone's cup of tea, but I have that abundance mentality where my people are my people, your people are your people. And I'm just going to keep putting myself in front of people. And, if
they like me, they like me. If they don't, they don't.
Exactly. And I'm not going to sweat it. One of my favorite books is The 4 Agreements. And I think it's agreement number 2, don't take it personally. Don't take anything personally. When people say, oh my gosh, I love you, you're the best, you're awesome. It's really nothing about me. It's all about their projection and what they're going through. Just as the same as they're like, you're the worst, you're horrible, your voice is annoying. It's really nothing about me. It's all about them and they're projecting. So I'm okay with that. I don't have to be everyone's cup of tea. But I'm just going to keep putting myself out there and keep sharing my message, which is my business, this brand, my services. And it's like that numbers game. You get in front of enough people, you keep sharing your message. We talk a lot about don't be a secret agent. I think everyone now knows that I'm in real estate because I talk about it a lot. It's in my head, I can't help it. It just comes out.
And I wish we could just clone you.
Yeah, but think about this. The first time you posted about real estate, I know you were nervous about it because I think it was when Beggins University when we forced you to go live on your phone, right? And I think that was it because I think you were teaching at the time when we were doing that whole thing.
I was teaching, and there was a lot going on. So my first Beggins University was last January, right? Or January before last.
Yep.
Even though I signed on with you guys the end of November, but I had a slow start. I signed on the end of November. 2 weeks later, my boyfriend Scott had an injury, right? And so he was in the hospital, shut everything down. I was doing all I could to keep my teaching career. I didn't do anything with real estate. And it wasn't until late January where I saw the Beggins U, and I was like, okay, I should probably go attend this for my business. And I was so afraid to leave the house, and because I was there with him and monitoring everything, and he's literally pushing me out the door going, I'm fine, you go do this, but I didn't really start working the business till late January, early February. My first transaction was in March and then another one in April. So things were a slow roll, but then now I'm on this like snowball.
Yeah, you told me at the beginning, you have 7 pending contracts right now.
Yes.
But go back to last January, because I think this is important for a lot of people that give up too early and they don't persevere through, right? You really started in January. You had personal reasons, it's a slow roll. And then you went through something that gave you some direction. One of the classes, Beggins University, Next Level University that we do.
It did.
And then January started, still didn't do anything. January didn't do anything. You had something happen in March, had something happen in April. That's 120 days into the business. Thank God you had a teacher job, right? Mm-hmm. To bring you checks, right? But March came and your check showed up and you're like, huh.
That's right? A big check compared to my beef teacher check.
Yes, yeah. And, I love that word that you used, persevere, because I learned the importance of perseverance in the classroom. But sometimes teaching and learning is, aha, got it, right? Other times with other skills, it's cumulative, like reading comprehension and so forth. So you have to persevere in the classroom, and it has to be a daily effort, right? So I'm okay with persevering. One of my favorite sayings is, the day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. And that's absolutely true in real estate. So I'm a big picture, long-term goal person. So I don't know. I just trust that process. But above all, I trust myself, and I know what I bring to the table. So when I tell my clients that, it's genuine. You're not going to get a better agent than me. There may be other agents out there who hustle better. They may know more, but you know what? I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to do it.
That's right. And some people don't like that, and you're okay with that, right? And
next.
that's the beautiful thing is next. It doesn't matter to you. Now behind you is your vision board, which I can't help but notice sitting there. Now that you're a full year, you just cut your safety net away. You said peace out to teaching. You just quit, right? I'm not coming back. It's been nice. See you later. I am now in real estate.
Yeah.
Right. We're just going through a global pandemic of crazy times, right? You have no safety net at all. Everything's shut down on the planet, and you can't get a safer job than teaching. So you're sitting here now. You're in control of your own destiny. So how does that feel?
So it feels fine because we didn't shut down. Everyone asks, has the real estate business died? What's happening? And I say, you know what? We had a 2-week slowdown, and it was a lull, but actually it was a great rebreather. It was a great time to catch up on some things. I actually took that time. I knocked out my 45-hour post-license course, so I got that out of the way. And now with the business picking back up, we're doing things differently, but my real estate business really never stopped. I had a week that was slow, and so I scheduled Zoom meetings, and I would do basically like a podcast, what we're doing now. And I did one a day, and I had a local builder online, I had a local lender online, I had a sales rep with Lennar on, and every day, and learning the technology with Zoom and broadcasting live to Facebook, and now those videos are on my YouTube page. But we did that, and that just drummed up more activity, more interest. I rescheduled. I did my first Zoom listing presentation because the seller contacted me and he was out of town. But the property is local here in Mirror Bay. So I prepared the seller's cost estimate, the listing presentation, the spa, and I shared my screen with them, and I walked them through MLS, and I walked them through everything. So just changing and adapting. Like if you don't adapt and grow, you're dead. You're dead in the water. And I refuse to be that stagnant agent because, one, that's just not me. But two, I have no safety net. Like I have no choice. So it's adapting and overcoming. And I'm like, all right, next.
Well, that's fun about this too, because your boyfriend is in real estate just starting out now too. So you really have no safety net, and neither does he.
Right.
That's a little bit of pressure.
Just a little bit.
I wanted to ask you, you were in the team huddle this morning. Have you tried or will you try the instant appointment with Zoom when you get an internet lead?
Yes, I will. I'm good with that.
I think it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's awesome. So let's talk about now. So you've been in our quarterly top agent retreats, right? You've been to our top agent awards. You've in the last year, you've really made us in your first year, which is awesome. And you've got great business. Like Craig said, you've got 7 pending deals right now. What is it about now? What's the drive? What is this called the Happy Agent Podcast? So what does happiness to Kalani mean now? Like, what is the next step for you?
I was going to say, I love the name of the podcast, the Happy Agent. I love it because so many of them are like, they're too intense, or they're like, but so I love the Happy Agent because, at Beggins, you guys do a great job of fostering happy agents. And it's about like you guys are invested in our whole lifestyle. It's not business. It's, what are your life goals? What makes you happy, right? So, I mean, for me, like, you're asking what my goals are, or
It's more, see, the fun part about what we do, what makes Craig and I just totally stoked, right, is watching you say, this is my dream life, right? And it's not about money, right? It's about, this is my dream life, right? This is whether it's the perfect house setup, not the biggest and most expensive house, the perfect house setup with the cool rooms that you want, with the best backyard that works for you, right? With the ability to travel, whatever that is for you, with driving whatever the hell makes you happy, with investing in whatever makes you excited about it, but the whole all-encompassing happy big ass smile life, which you talk about all the time. Like we always say, what puts a big ass smile on your face? So what's the drive now? Because we can go on a quarter. I think one thing this year has shown us for sure is we can't predict the super future, right? But we can really have a pretty good idea over what's going to happen in the next couple of months, that we can control that. For sure the energy that you put in over the next week, right, will pay you 45 days from now. That we can control. That we know we can control. So you get to be able to do whatever you want. So what are you working towards now? What is happiness in your life that you're?
So definitely, I think like most of America right now, I'm looking around, evaluating the house, the different outdoor space that I want, and so kind of putting like notes in the back of my head for the leveling up house and what it's going to have, what it's going to include, and things like that for a comfortable home lifestyle. But then I'm experience based. So that includes traveling. I'm an avid scuba diver. So I always say, I scuba dive as much as my budget and my calendar allows me. So, so I'm trying to book in some more scuba dive trips. We had a trip scheduled actually the end of April that obviously could not happen. So that got moved to October. So that will still be coming up because we're going to be flying into the island of Saba off the coast of St. Martin. So and it's a beautiful, beautiful island and some of the best scuba diving in the world. So things like that, those, like I said, those goals and planning, but it's adventures and experiences. I'm not about things, but I'm definitely about the experiences and creating those memory moments.
That's awesome. That's the best part. Also, I think what a lot of the world, I think, has realized in this last few months too, is creating investments, right? Putting your money, because right now we're trading hours for dollars. Okay, there's a direct correlation to the number of hours you work, people you talk to the number of dollars that you make.
Yeah.
So the ultimate goal is to make money, to invest in things that work for you even when you're not working, while you're scuba diving, having your money make money for you. So how about that? Do we have some of those on the vision board now to get some investment properties or other investments that'll be growing for you as well?
Not yet, but that's definitely long term. It's coming because
likely will come because we're going to continue to talk about it.
No doubt. And just put into your brain, and those the rest
she's
of
frozen.
She's frozen for now, so she'll come back.
I believe in that. Yeah, you guys are frozen. There we go.
There we go. Good. For those who are watching, please make sure that you have a clear grasp on what your monthly burn is, right? Really, really understand what it's going to be, and then add a little factor to that, and then multiply that by 6 or 8 or 9 months, guys. And please put that somewhere that's liquid, that you can get to it, because we do not know what happens in the future. I mean, this was a weird out of the blue scenario with COVID that I think was a wake up call to many, that if you have stockpiled 6 or 9 months of cash, you can weather, right, what's going on. If you don't, it's stressful. So this is not the stressed out, crazy ass agent podcast. It's the happy agent podcast.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you can stay on that side of the world.
And another thing that I've enjoyed doing is just sharing my journey through, building my business, building my real estate business with everyone, kind of being that transparent, open book. And so a lot of people have been watching me and following me. And so they talk to me about it. And In fact, a lot of, teachers, a lot of women, they say, hey, can we meet up for coffee, or can you talk about what you're doing? I tell them there's no magic formula. There's no secret sauce. I'm just putting the work in, right? And it's research-based work about open houses, about door knocking, about, just sharing your message and talking to people.
We're in the people of communication business.
I love it. What I know you did very well, and that I want to make sure. I think we're having a little freeze up situation there on your feed.
Yeah.
There you go. So what I want to remind everybody is, you're talking about how people reach out to you now. They wouldn't ever reach out to you unless you did the tough things, right? You are posting every day. You're putting yourself out there. You're making sure that you're just talking about real estate, because that bridges the gap that Kalani is no longer a teacher. It's what is she doing? Real estate. Even if they don't stop, like, or interact, they're seeing you in their feed, and they're seeing you at a house. They're seeing you at an open house. They're seeing you here. So that is a connection. Kalani house, Kalani house, Kalani house, Kalani house, Kalani house. Every day, smacking them in the face. They're scrolling by it, but they're seeing it. And that's the whole point. So 3 days from now, 3 months from now, they're at their kid's basketball game, and somebody says, my uncle's moving here from Chicago, Kalani, boom, right? Pops up. So that's the benefit of what you're doing. You're doing a great job in consistently putting yourself out there too, which is going to pay dividends for years to come.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So last parting words for those who are agents are watching, last parting words for those who are still kind of thinking about where their next level is. What should they do?
So, the morning training that you guys provide and that Craig's provide, I think is invaluable, because every single training gives a little tidbit of information, or just a little task that is applicable and is going to help grow your business. And, as a new agent, you come into the business kind of with your own mindset of, I'm going to do this, and they're not really income producing or revenue, producing activities. But you guys know what the revenue producing activities are. So if they really just listen and do what you say, and I know Craig is like, I'm preaching every day, but we are listening, and we're trying, I promise, because it's valuable information. And, you just put the work in. You just
today,
like a business.
Today I was talking about the necessity to have a CRM that you're actively keeping focus on. Because we are getting more leads now than we've gotten in a long time. But all those leads are saying, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready yet.
Yeah.
So it's like water going through a hose. Don't stare at it. It's going to hit you in the face. But if you don't have these systems in place now, you're not going to be ready to enjoy the surge that is coming.
Yeah.
And if you don't have checklists and business systems in place, managing 7 pending contracts is a big job. And hopefully you've got critical date timelines and you calendar those events so we don't miss the loan approval periods and stuff like that. But that's the tactical stuff that has to be done. And I commend you for it, because you've been doing it. Managing 7 deals at one time as a new agent is overwhelming for most. So. And
4 active listings. So I'm still marketing those open houses, updating the homeowners on progress and traffic and scheduling showings. So, I got into this because I wanted my day to look different. And every single day looks different. And I love that. I embrace that. So I just enjoy all parts of it. And then, the paycheck is nice.
That's right.
Well, it shows that you enjoy it. Well, you bring a really great beam of happiness to our company and energy, which we are very proud to have you part of our team.
Yes.
So thanks for all that you do.
Yes.
And and thanks for taking the time to be with us on the Happy Agent Podcast. And Craig, parting words?
She just inspires me that everybody would come in with that attitude and willingness to just go do it. Because you were scared. I remember, standing there taking your video of what to do, and boy, you've come a long way. And you've got a long way to go too.
I absolutely do. I know. And I'm okay with that.
That's right. We'll go there together.
All right, guys. Okay. Well, thanks for having me on today. This was fun. Thanks.
Right.
Good deal. Thanks for watching, everybody. And as always, reach out with any questions. We're happy to help. And we'll put Kalani's contact information. If you have any questions or referrals around Tampa Bay, you know who to reach out to. You got a great agent there. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.